Hi. This week on Movie Takeover is Actress Week. And on today, on August 5th, well, I thought it would be best to start off with one of the greatest losses that we lost on August 5th, Marilyn Monroe. Born on June 1st in 1926 in Los Angeles, California, Marilyn Monroe lived in a sort of poor family. She never knew who her father was and had a really bad childhood. Because of something that happened to her mother, she ended up going to a mental institution, putting the poor little girl all on her own. So Marilyn Monroe was sent to an orphanage. In order to escape the orphanage, she ended up marrying someone at the age of 16, but he ended up having to leave during the World War II, and the two split after that. Well, during the war, she had jobs like working in a factory, like most women did during that time. She, she also made money by modeling, by doing pictures. Soon, someone discovered her, so she started getting like small acting roles in movies, like in the late 40s. And then one of them was called Ladies in the Chorus, which I saw like I think last year. If you want to check it out, you can check it out. Where she's a backup singer. And then in the early 50s, she started getting more like major roles in movies like Don't Bother to Knock or a supporting role in All About Eve and Monkey Business, brief film. Well, during that time. Uh, Eve, despite how happy she looked in front of the camera, she had a really sad life and behind it. When they were filming the movie Some Like It High, she suffered a miscarriage, which really hurt her because Marilyn always wanted to have a child, and it wasn't good on set either because she would always show up late. She would always show up late during the set. It would take her too long to do takes. She wouldn't memorize her lines, so she ended up getting fired from Fox. Yeah, I think it was Fox. She then decided to end up making her own moving company, which at the time, which was rare for something to do for a female. So she was like the first female to make her own movie production, and she would then marry the baseball player Joe DiMaggio. But after the iconic dress scene in the 7 Year Itch, they got into an argument, and then they split up after like a very brief marriage. And then we move forward. She stars in probably one of her iconic, and in my opinion, one of the best movies ever made. It's Some Like It Hot, directed by Billy Wilder, which also stars Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, which in my opinion is one of the best. It's not like my top five best movies ever made. One of the best written scripts, the combination of comedy, a little bit of romance too. Nobody can write like this guy. After that movie, Marilyn would then get married to Arthur Miller, a writer for movies. He would then star her in a movie which would be her last film, which would be released during her lifetime, called The Misfits. Many critics considered it as one of her greatest roles of all time, but Marilyn originally wasn't like too hot about the script at first. Shortly later, she ended up getting another divorce, sadly, by her husband. At that time, Marilyn had never actually lived alone before, and so she ended up buying her own house, like a nice house that she always dreamed about. She settled over there, and She would then star in her last film, which never really got like release like a full release, which they never finished, but they ended up placing with another actress with the iconic scene where she jumps off the swimming pool. Those were some of the only few scenes they ended up filming. And during that time, on her last birthday, the whole crew ended up celebrating her birthday, and it was one of the best days for Marilyn. Sadly, sadly, we lost this Fred Jim on this date way back in 1962, where she where she was found where she was found in her apartment with a locked door. This has come up to speculations about like what happened to her, how we lost her, but I really don't care about that. But what I do care is the impact she brought during her lifetime as being one of the most celebrated women in Hollywood. She made a she discovered like a she became like a new image to women, which at the 50s, which was rare to see. She she liked to have fun. She was proud of being a girl, which makes her on this list on Movie Takeover for a Woman of the Week. On this day, Marilyn Monroe, may she rest in peace.